Welcome to AI Speed, the show where AI-powered businesses talk about what actually works in the market right now. Business doesn't move at internet speed anymore. It moves at AI speed. And the people who figure out how to turn models into money will own the next decade. I'm Evan J. Chalfin, founder of Luxhammer and growth partner to high-performing brands. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Zach Kinzler, head of human AI solutions at BoodleBox. Zach is working on one of the most important layers of AI adoption, not the models themselves, but how humans actually use them. At BoodleBox, he's focused on helping people move from being overwhelmed or skeptical of AI to actually becoming fluent in it. Zach, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Evan. I'm excited about this.
So, your path into AI is interesting. You didn't start as a pure technologist. What pulled you into the space?
It's actually a pretty funny story. I mean, I can go back to the beginning. So I was a junior in college when ChatGPT came out. So I have a degree in industrial and systems engineering and a master's in analytics from the University of San Diego. And when ChatGPT came out, I was very infatuated with this stuff. I was a student that was like really good at talking to people, I would say. I like to think, and wasn't quite as good as math and things like that as the other engineers. So when ChatGPT came out, I was just like, whoa, this solves every single one of my problems that I had. So I kind of just started like, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I like to say I just started trying to make businesses, work at startups, do anything I could with AI to make money, which is kind of a funny. I started building sports betting algorithms for my friends that were big sports bettors and I wasn't. Weird things like that. And then I was taking a jujitsu class, weirdly, at college, and the professor was the jujitsu teacher was super into AI. He introduced me to this startup that he had been working with. I worked with them as a machine learning AI engineer for a few months because I really wanted to kind of learn the nuts and bolts and guts of this stuff. Kind of realized I like people a lot more than dark rooms and computers all of the time. And then I just started interviewing college kids. I interviewed over 1,000 college students in 2023 and 24 of how they were using AI in the classroom. I learned quickly that people have no idea what they're doing and they really struggle to actually use this stuff. So then I joined the company here at BoodleBox, and I'm the lucky one that gets to teach people how to actually use this stuff. Whether you're a lawyer, professor, someone in the military, you get to work with anybody, and just kind of helping them translate human to AI solutions, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What makes BoodleBox's approach different from just using tools like ChatGPT or Claude on your own?
So the thing that's cool about BoodleBox is we give you access, like direct large language model access through APIs to every single LLM provider. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Llama, and NVIDIA could go down the line. But we do it in like a safe manner. So we have like legally binding contracts with every one of them that state they can't train models on our data, they can't store it. As well as that, we like anonymize prompts, we encrypt knowledge, and we run on a data minimization policy. So kind of the secret sauce, what we did here at BoodleBox is we inherently kind of invented a way to use large language models more efficiently than they can use themselves because we ourselves are not a large language model. We're just a middleman. So we give you direct access to every single one of those in a safe, compliant, cheap place. That's also, we reduce your environmental footprint of using AI by about 95% through our token reduction technology that we've invented. So it's like, I like to say, like large language models, Claude, ChatGPT, they're kind of transitioning into being like Lamborghinis, right? But you don't drive a Lamborghini to the grocery store every day. You still need that general AI solution that you can use for most of your things. And that's what we are here at BoodleBox, is like the ability to like use it generally. And then we've built in a bunch of stuff like our coach mode, which is pretty much like an agent almost that lives in your platform and teaches you how to use AI better in context of what you're doing. And then the other thing is like, large language models are all good at different stuff, right? And if you don't know that, that's a very important thing to start to understand, that Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini are all good at different things for different reasons. So the thing that's cool about Boodle is you can use them all together. So I can have ChatGPT brainstorm with me, Claude ideate, build, and then Gemini review. And like that's coming up, I don't know, like at GTC this year, NVIDIA's conference, Jensen, the CEO, said he makes his engineers use multiple different large language models. So we really plan to be that space where you can use all of them together. Like I like to think of BoodleBox as a construction worker, and then tools like Claude Code, Notebook LM, those are the hammer saw that you need for specific parts of building, but you still need that body to help with everything. So, long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. So, from what you're seeing, what's the core problem people are dealing with today when it comes to using AI?
Most of the time, I would say it's that they try to solve problems that they don't understand. Like they're trying to take processes that they've done in the past and just do them faster when they don't understand the process that they're trying to do faster in the first place. The other thing is people really struggle to communicate with other people. And the reason that I think I use these large language models so well is like I love to talk and I'm good at articulating my thoughts. And I've found that large language models are trained on what? Like large amounts of human language, right? And people try to use them like computers when inherently you should just be talking to them like you talk to another person. And I think one of the problems that were caused is all of the snake oil prompt engineer classes that were sold 2 years ago to a year ago, even today, people selling LinkedIn courses that help you be a better prompter. It really structures your thinking. It makes you think this is the way that you use these things when in reality, you should just be talking like the models are so smart that now that you should just be communicating to them like you communicate to another person. And I think a lot of it comes down to people struggling to understand problems. They don't understand what they're trying to solve for. And two, they can't articulate what they're thinking. I like to explain AI as the stupidest smart person that's ever existed. It's really good at doing everything, but if you don't tell it exactly what you want it to do, it's just going to make a bunch of pretty garbage. So it's that people don't know how to articulate their thoughts and they also don't know how to break down problems. And I think that's the major problem with people using this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see that being a problem. And in your role, where are you spending most of your time right now?
I would say nowhere, all everywhere, nowhere, all at the same time. Like I work a lot on teaching people directly how to use this. I also work a lot on like helping ideate how to make our product better, right? So taking like what hear from outside clients, bringing that into internal things. I spend a lot of time running like our optimizations, our internal AI stuff, like building tools for other employees here at BoodleBox. I do a lot of time like educating our internal team on how to use AI. Like we had a development offsite, like where all of our dev team was down here in San Diego, and I came and just showed them how I use Claude Code for coding, right? So it's like upskilling our engineers on how to use AI, and we have some great people there that are doing it also as well as me. But really, it's like I like to think of myself as a problem solver. So like wherever the biggest problem is that directly affects the goals of the business, that's where I'm working. Whether that be product, sales, investing, investors, things like that, like really all over the board.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned some of the different types of institutions, but who does BoodleBox serve best right now? Students, institutions, etc.
Yeah, so we like to think of ourselves as AI infrastructure for higher education. So it's really for everybody, faculty, student, staff, right? And where we're seeing like tons of success is community colleges, rural colleges, places that like are looking to prep their students for the workforce, right? Like community colleges, they're more focused on can my student get a job immediately after college? But some big R1 institutions, like we work with some amazing institutions like Penn State, Georgia State, things like that, where they're really focused on workforce readiness. And that's where we really land. Because the one thing that's cool about BoodleBox is for higher education, when students use their AI software, most other platforms that gets deleted when they graduate, right? They have to start over. But what we can do is they can transfer their account with them. So it's like pretty much in college, they're building an AI resume that they can bring with them after they graduate. But I would say like the biggest smashing successes we've seen are in community colleges, rural colleges, small private institutions that really can just like they can move fast, right? They don't have that giant bureaucracy to move things, but inherently some of the big institutions that do have that giant bureaucracy, like we're moving really well with. So, I mean, it's been the last 3 months have just been insane how much it's really taken off. And that's because I think we do really meet people in the middle. Like, I think what happens is tech companies try to tell people what the right answer is and have them force that into their box. But what we do is we listen to our customers really well. And it's like, what does higher education need to better serve their faculty, student, and staff? And that's like what we're building every day.
Yeah, that's great. So, What's been your biggest challenge this year in getting people comfortable using AI?
Hype, I would say. People go on the news and they see Claude Code and they think it's some incredible thing when they have. I mean, it is. I think it's the coolest thing that exists today. But it's like people try to sprint before they've even crawled yet. Like, and it comes down to the problem of like not understanding your problem. It's like most people like see things and want to do the most advanced thing without being able to do the simple stuff. And then the other thing I would say is that like certain individuals thinking what's right for them is right for everybody, right? Like if you're a power user in an institution, like you can't buy a Lamborghini for every single faculty, student, and staff at your university, but you need something for everybody, right? And BoodleBox is absolutely incredible. And really what it is that general solution. But I think the struggle is that people don't understand the difference between a large language model and an agent coding tool, right? They all think Claude is the same across all Claude things. Like when you're using Claude code, you're probably using, 15 different large language model tooling options. That's very different than just using Claude directly. And I really think it's like a lack of understanding and generalizing that something that solves your problem should be what everybody uses, right? It's like, I just think there's such a lack of understanding of what this stuff actually is that people don't understand that if you pay $16 a month for something, it's probably not going to be the same as if you pay $200 a month for something. And there's like reasons.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And how do you address the fear that AI is going to quote unquote replace people?
I mean, I hate to say the classic AI is not going to take your job. Somebody who knows how to use AI is going to take your job. But I mean, sometimes I will straight up say, yeah, if your job is just clicking around on a computer and moving things around, if you work for a big company, they're probably going to replace you with an AI. So what do you do with that? There also is crazy upside. It has never been easier to start a business. It has never been easier to like do what you really want to do. So when I'm talking to students, I'm just like, don't settle, right? Go do what you want to do. What would make you happy every single day of your life? Before, that used to take a lot of time, money, and effort to even get started. I could spin up 6 different businesses by the end of this Zoom call right now that we are on. And it's like, it's kind of an understanding of that, like, certain things are going to go away, but certain things are going to become new. And that's like, I think there's just such a polarized view on a lot of this stuff where it's like, oh, AI is going to take our jobs. It's bad. Yeah, I mean, it is going to take people's jobs because a lot of people's jobs, like, inherently can be done better by these computer things. And obviously, there's so many more things to talk about with that on like laws, politics, and how that should change and people should be taxed for stuff like that. But that's not what we're really talking about. The whole idea is that, like, if your job's going to get taken away by AI, like, go make yourself a new job because AI can help you do that, right? And it's like, I like to tell people, like, I don't use AI to do things. I use AI to teach me how to do things. And it's like, I could learn quantum physics in terms of a ukulele and Swahili if I wanted to right now. And that's like so cool to me. Like, that's why I think that is just like, it's such a, I always tell people this is the coolest time to be alive. I haven't been around for very long, but I don't think of in history there's been a time where you can really do anything. And the only difference between you doing anything and doing nothing is just effort, right? Like, because you can
Yeah,
go do.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll do this again in Swahili for sure.
Yeah.
So what creates hesitation for people when they start using AI tools?
Fear, I would say, right? It's that, like, I don't understand it, especially in higher education. Like, higher education, traditionally, these people have been teaching things that they have done their whole life, right? That they're experts in. Like, it's hard for someone in higher education to teach something that they're not comfortable with themselves. And I think that's a big fear. Also, like, I'm behind the curve. Like, I didn't start a while ago. I'm going to be way too behind. I'm just going to not do it now. I mean, it's like really the skill that people need to be learning is not AI. It's like how to learn, right? Like, every time a new product comes out, it is way different than the last one. And like, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily an expert on using AI. I would more say I'm an expert on learning AI. Like, okay, I have a prompt that I use whenever Claude comes out with a new model, and I like know what the last one said. And then I'll look at it and be like, okay, this is different for this reason. And like the other thing I would say is like, I don't know which word to say for this. Like, I don't want to say like pretentiousness or like stubbornness, but it's the fact that like my whole entire life, I have had no problem walking up to somebody and being like, I'm stupid. I don't understand what you're saying. Explain it to me like I'm 10 years old. And people really do have a struggle with like being vulnerable with things. And it's like, whenever someone sends me a problem, like I say that I could do consulting in anything very well. Just besides medicine, maybe, right? Is really the only one that I would say I'm a little shaky on. And it's just because I'm gonna go to Claude and I'm gonna be like, hey, or BoodleBox, I'm gonna go to BoodleBox and be like, hey, this is my problem. What information do you need to help me solve this problem effectively? And like it blows my mind. I mean, I work with thousands of people and it's like people really struggle to be like, I don't know, teach me how to do this. And like, I think if people would just do that, it would dramatically change. I always tell people like, everyone's going to think I'm stupid in 6 months when they realize like how easy this stuff is to actually use.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does success look like over the next year for BoodleBox?
Just doing exactly what we're doing right now. It's serving people that need to be educated, learn how to do this stuff, and just provide a solution that's like partnered with our clients rather than making technology, releasing it to the world and figuring out what people want to use it for. We like, I would say success is just deepening those partnerships with, higher education, law firms, things like that. And it's really success is building the first ever truly collaborative human AI platform that allows for human and AIs to work together in multi-team groups, I would say, because that's what we do. Like, we're the only thing that really exists where me, you, the CEO BoodleBox could jump in a group chat, talk to each other, talk to ChatGPT, and talk to Claude. And it's really like hammering home workforce readiness for higher education students, faculty, and staff to where they are ready to hit the ground running when they want to go get a job. And then for work teams, building the first truly collaborative AI platform that allows humans and AI to work together.
Yeah, that's great. Are there thoughts about expanding beyond those areas into broader workforce use cases?
Yeah, so I mean, we like our product development right now is 100% focused on higher education, and we've kind of the product's been pulled out of our hands into law firms, military, things like that. And yeah, 100%. Like I do think we do plan on, working like expanding it to really anybody that wants it, because inherently all that BoodleBox is a safe, collaborative place to use large language models, and that I think can span just about any. I had a student that ran his fantasy football draft through BoodleBox with all of his friends. And they had a bot that was managing the draft, and then all the people were working. And it's like, that's what's so cool, I think.
Yeah, that is really fun. So what trends are you seeing in AI adoption that feel kind of real versus hype?
Claude Code, that's been the biggest one. Like, just anybody can build anything now, really. Like, that's not hype, in my opinion. Like, that's legit. I think there is hype in like like Suno, that was hype. That died really quickly. Like and the other thing I would say is that like people get stuck on what's cool right now. Like go look at the trends over the last 2 years. ChatGPT, Google, Llama, even at one point was the best thing that existed. DeepSeek was the best thing that existed. It's that like I think the trends are that there's always going to be trends. There's always going to be a new thing. That's the coolest thing that exists. And the next month, there's going to be a new thing that exists. I do think over the next few months, there's going to be some really interesting things. I listened to a podcast the other day about how a lot of the government subsidies for these AI models are going to go away pretty soon in June, I think is what it was. And I mean, you should see a crazy spike in cost. And I think that's a trend is that people don't actually understand that this stuff is way more expensive than you're paying for it. And it's going to eventually reality is going to hit and the investors are going to want their money back from these things. And that $100 a month for Claude Code subscription is going to shut you off 10 times faster than it did 6 months ago. And we've already seen that, right? Like in January last year, I could use Claude Code unlimitedly if I paid that much. And now I get shut off, right? It's going to get more expensive. And I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be a pretty big change for people. So, if we were to have this conversation again in 12 months, what would need to happen for you to feel like it was a big win for the company?
I would say like have like finish, close through a lot of those like higher education partnerships that we've had. Like I would love to see like state systems adopting BoodleBox, right? For all faculty, student, and staff. And then I would also say like partnerships, right? Like a lot of our competitors that we've had, like Anthropic, ChatGPT, and things like that, like I would say success is like me openly talking to a school and being like, you should buy Box for everybody. And then for your engineering department, you should go buy Claude. And then for your arts, you should buy Gemini so that you have video and these things, right? It's that like, I would say it's like the world better understands that you need general solutions and specific tools. And then also like really opening up that human AI collaboration, like having, because we do already have like real workforce teams, like thousands of people using it for human AI collaboration, but like really having that defined as like what that looks like. Like we would be the people that define what human AI collaboration looks like in a work team.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And that's it for today's episode of AI Speed. A huge thank you to Zach Kinzler for sharing his insights into how humans can work alongside AI and how we move from simply using tools to actually becoming fluent in them. If you're building or leading an AI native company or a service business that uses AI under the hood and you care about revenue, adoption, and market share, make sure to subscribe to AI Speed. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep building, keep selling, and keep moving at AI speed.
Thank you.
Thank you.